Well, cousins, trigger warning. So I saw this story when I was scrolling the Bird app after I had finished my novel, which I need to talk about. But anywho, girl, that's not the subject of this video. I saw this and it made me feel some feelings. Number one, I felt bad for the victims and their parents and how they were put in this situation where a human male, allegedly, he had put some substances in some smoothies, and for three of the girls, as has been reported, okay, they were feeling the symptoms of those substances and it wasn't good. And fortunately, there were other girls at the sleepover who had not partaken in those substances. So they were coherent and they were able to alert parents and just get that domino effect rolling. And then this human male had the audacity that when some parents came to pick up their babies, and he was like, "Oh, like, the girls are asleep. So hey, why don't you come back in the morning?" Like the way we both would have been leaving in a situation, but you would have been in this one, and I would have been in this one, and y'all can guess which ones we would have been in. I would have been in the one where confinement is involved. But the second reason that this story triggered me was because having slumber parties was such an important part of my childhood, starting when I was about 8 or 9 years old. My parents had been divorced, so it was just me and mom, cohabitating, sharing a home. And I had my very first slumber party that included classmates and little girls I went to church with. It was so great, especially even though I'm an introvert. I had such a good time just having people in my space, and I loved it. And after that, I would have slumber parties for my birthday on a regular basis. And I think around the time that I became a teenager, we started having the slumber parties at my late aunt's house. May she rest in peace, when she was married to my uncle, her ex-husband. My uncle is special and precious to me because he is probably one of the few blurs that I was exposed to when I was growing up. And he's actually the reason why I love Star Trek, because he was a Trekkie girl. Like, he had us watching Star Wars. Oh, excuse me. I said Star Wars. Oh my God. Don't tell him I said that. He had me watching Star Trek Next Generation. And that's why, like, that Star Trek franchise, like, girl, that's that's my jam, and it's all because of him. But also, my uncle-in-law, he did not want kids. Okay, he didn't want to have children, and because of that, my aunt didn't have any kids, but she loved kids. She was the one. That's why we was at her house all the time. I practically lived there like every weekend. I knew people in the neighborhood. Like, we were just, it was like we were her kids. And it's like the fact that this man tolerated teenage girls in his home. Like, that's what I'm talking about. The fact that that's not something that he would usually support, but because he had a love for me, he went ahead and agreed to that. And this is what you should be looking for when you are a single mom and you're dating, you're maybe seeking a partner. It shouldn't be somebody who loves kids, who loves family, who loves single moms. Those are predators. And the thing that negatively impacts us is the fact that we give human males too much credit when they look like they're doing a good job as a dad. Like, we see how if a dad shows up at the park with his kids, and the women are like, "Oh my God, he's such a good dad," just for going to the motherfucking park. Meanwhile, us mothers are doing all the other shit. And you feel like, well, that's what we're supposed to be doing. So we don't get any fucking credit or accolades. Nobody's telling us we're doing a great job. And I can understand why a group of parents would be comfortable with this situation, because they were probably thinking like, "Oh my God, he's such a great dad. He's helping co-parent. He's hosting a summer party with some girls, which is going to be crazy. Because we still want to believe that human males want to be good dads, when in fact, they don't. They just want to be dads. And by be dads, I mean they just want the title of being a dad. They don't want to actually do the work. They don't even actually like kids, which is why so many women end up being married single moms, because their husbands who they discussed being parents with, and he was like, I'm just looking forward to being a dad so much and I just can't wait. And the whole time you were pregnant, it was just like this magical experience. And then the baby gets here, and then he's like, yeah, that's you. And also, while you are being the primary caregiver for our child, I expect for everything to be exactly the same as it was before the baby got here. And also, why aren't you not paying enough attention to me? Why are you paying so much attention to the baby? I need you to. Even though a baby is completely helpless, it needs somebody to take care of it, for a little bit, and I'm an adult, and I'm able to take care of myself. Why are you not paying attention to me? So while I am not advocating that you date someone who strongly dislikes kids, I would definitely say when you're dating, get to know that person before you introduce him to his kids. And if he's like badgering you and asking you, but like, hey, when are you going to introduce me to the kids? That is a red flag. He should be centered on getting to know you. And when the time is right, he will bring up when it is appropriate to meet your kids and be introduced. And that's usually when he decides that he wants you to be his girlfriend. Okay, somebody who's like, just looking for friends and seeing where it goes. Girl, no, do not introduce him to your children. He should demonstrate to you that he can show up for you and your kids. Ask him. If he swipes right on your dating profile, or he meets you out in the wild and you exchange information and start getting to know each other, and he discovers that you are a single mom, ask him why he wants to date you. Because they tell us that we are the bane of society's existence. So ask him, what is it about me that made me an exception to you? Or if he tells you, oh, I just love kids, I think they're so great, dreamed about being a dad since I was a little boy, just think single moms make better partners, best relationships that I have had were with single moms, family is so important to me, and I can't wait to have one. Or some variation of anything I just said, that is a red flag. Proceed with caution. I would say don't proceed at all, but girl, you're grown. I can't tell you what to do. From a single mom to single moms, girl, please protect your babies, number one. Number two, it's not even really worth it. If I'm being honest, if I'm keeping it 100, you are not missing out on anything if you are not dating and you are single. Honestly, them vilifying us is the goddess's protection. I hope that they keep speaking into microphones and telling other human males to leave us alone because we are not worthy. They don't even want to raise their own kids, but suddenly they are the father who stepped up. With the exception of men like Russell Wilson, who is our favorite beta simp, Sierra's husband and baby daddy. They love it when the father of your children is not in your life. I don't want to have to raise another man's children. No, you don't want to have to co-parent with a man who is taking care of his kids, because it's intimidating. Gotta compete with him, and you don't want to have to do that. Anywho, girl, protect our babies. And okay, I love you. Bye.